Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today I'm working on a different project. This is a baby quilt. Actually, I'm making two baby quilts for my niece. She's expecting twins in June, and you know, with twins you can't always count on them going full term. So I'm trying to get these quilts done early so that they'll be ready when the babies arrive. So what I wanted to do was to make a quilt that was about 45 to 50 square inches, and I designed one that is 48 inches. So I think that'll work well. I'm using 12-inch blocks, so I only need 5 blocks or 9 blocks in the quilt, and I'm using 2 different blocks. I'm using a butterfly block and a 9-patch chain block. And I'm alternating them, and I'll show you some pictures up here so you can see. Both of the babies are girls, so the quilts are going to be similar but kind of different colors, so they can tell them apart. Now the block I decided to use is called Butterfly in the Sky, and this is by Riley Blake. It is a free block pattern on their website, so you can just go to rileyblake.com and look under their free patterns and just look for Butterfly under the Sky or Butterfly in the Sky, and you'll find that pattern there. Now their pattern is for a 9-inch block. I redrafted it and made a 10-inch block, and then I elongated the center part of the butterfly. So this is the 10-inch block I made using the center, the body of the butterfly, the way Riley Blake has it. So you notice the tip of the body ends at the wings here and down here also. So all of those seams meet. I decided I wanted to elongate that so I don't have to match those points, and I came up with this. So it's about 1 inch longer on each side. So they're cute blocks. I wanted to do an applique quilt, but I don't have a machine to do the applique around the applique stitch around the applique pieces. So I looked for a pieced block and came up with butterflies. Now I've made several butterfly quilts in my career. Several of them are on the channel, so you can look back. If you go to the home page and search for butterfly, and it'll come up with couple of different quilts and probably a long arm quilting video on butterfly blocks. So you should be able to find some of those. And those are vintage butterfly applique blocks. So this is a modern block, of course. So I need 5 blocks for each quilt. I've got 9 of them done total, so I've got 1 more to go. So I thought I'd go ahead and film this for you. And since this is Riley Blake's block, I don't have a pattern for this, so I would suggest just following their pattern and adjusting it as you want to make it your own. I don't think it's ethically correct for me to put my pattern out there when I'm basically just taking their block and just enlarging it a little bit. So don't want to mess that up anyway. But I wanted to give you a couple of tips because the way my brain works, it does not mirror image well. And these blocks, as you can see, let me pull one up again. It's a mirror image from side to side. So it was real easy for me to get pieces in the wrong place. So I had to lay everything out and keep them that way so that I don't get confused. So I'm going to turn the camera down so that you can see what I'm doing on the table right here, and then I'll talk you through as I'm sewing all of these pieces. Okay, so here we have the wing pieces. The colored pieces are the wings and the whites are the backgrounds, and the largest pieces go on the upper wing. Now if you notice, these are rectangles. Both of these are rectangles. These I'm using vertically, these are going horizontal, and this these sides have to meet so they're the same size. There's 3 different size background squares to make rectangles. The largest goes on the upper wing, the second one goes on the bottom wing, and then the ones on the side are the same size, and these are the smallest. The diagonal line, you need to draw a diagonal line on each square. And for these wings here, let me turn it this way so you can see it upside up for you. The diagonal line goes from the top to the middle. So top to middle as you lay these out. So this is left wing, right wing, left right wing, right wing. And then the lines for these two pieces need to be parallel. So your big piece and your small piece, have your drawn lines parallel to each other, and make, if you start with your top one, you have that going from the top to the middle, top to the middle, this one will go drop into place. And you're going to do the same on these. You're going to go from top to the side instead on these two. These two are from the bottom to the middle. And then you'll have one more square that's going to go here, and it's going to go from side to side. And these pieces, of course, we're going to sew on last, because we're going to do the stitch and flip method, where we're going to stitch on the drawn lines, and then we're going to trim off the outer corner and flip it over and press it. So I'll show you how that works. I'm going to turn things around so that I don't get too confused. And I'm going to take these two corners off because they are going to go on here in a few minutes. And another thing I did was I pinned everything in place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the pieces that we trim off are large enough that they could be used as half square triangles in another project. So what I did is, after I sewed them onto the pieces here, I went ahead and drew another diagonal line a ½ inch away from this one towards the outside, stitched on that, and then cut between the two of them, and then saved those outer pieces for another project. So I've got a nice stack of half square triangles to use in another quilt. So that one goes this way. Now the fabrics that I'm using are all Lori Holt fabrics, and they're from an assortment of her lines. We've got Calico, Flea Market, Prim, Basics. I'm sure there's another line in there. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But most of these are scraps, except for the Calico, which is I've been using of a fat quarter bundle that I bought a while back. And so I'm using those. Like this is Calico, and that came out of that bundle. And the others are scraps left over from other projects. Like I did the Sew by Row project and the chicken salad quilt. So all the leftovers from that are in my scrap bin, and I'm using those if the sizes are big enough for the project I'm working on now. Okay, and then when I get all the butterfly blocks done, then I'll do the 9-patch chain block and have all that ready. Now the biggest problem I have is with these pieces here, getting them in the right order. These two pieces are different sizes, but they're only a ½ inch off from each other. This piece is a ½ inch larger than these pieces here. So they're real similar. That's why I try to keep them in order. So I'll adjust the camera again here, and we'll get started sewing. Okay, I'm going to start with the upper wings. I'm going to sew on those drawn lines. And I'm just going to chain piece everything together here. Okay, and now turn them around and sew the lines on the other pieces. Okay, and now I want to do the bottom wings. So we'll just continue on. I'm going to go ahead and cut these off. There we go. Okay. You noticed my nails are all different colors. My daughter decided I needed to have my nails polished, so she polished my nails for me and decided I needed multicolors, so we did that. Okay, now I am drawing another diagonal line, a 1/2 inch to the outside of the stitched line, and I'm doing that because these pieces are large enough to save, and I'm just going to sew them now and just make the 1/2 square triangles. It'll save me time later on. So I'm going to do that to all of the pieces. And you don't have to be exact, and you really don't have to draw a line if you don't want to. It just helps me out to have that on there. So just a 1/2 inch away from the stitched line, and then I'll sew on that drawn line, and then I'll cut between those two stitched lines and save all that. So. And don't need pins at this point since everything is stitched. Okay, we're going to cut between the two stitched lines now. I'm just going to use my scissors, and then I can save those pieces. So. Okay, now I'm going to press back so that I will have this look for all these pieces. So let me press these. Okay, so what I have now is I have the butterfly upper wings up here, and then the lower wings, which I need to press that. I got a crease in that one. They're going to go like this. Nope, that's not right. They're going to go this way. So this is the problem I have. The sizes are very similar as far as, you know, this is only a 1/2 inch shorter than this width. So I need to match, these two triangles need to match up right at the seam. So that's how I know I have it correct. So I need to sew the other square onto this corner. So those are going to go here and here, with the diagonal line going from one side to the other. So I'm going to get those lined up and pin them in place, and then I'll sew them. And I'm being careful not to scratch my pin into my sewing machine table here. That's why I'm pinching up the fabric like that. Okay, so I'm going to sew these, and then we'll be ready to sew these two pieces together and these two pieces together, and then we'll sew in the center. Okay, so now I'm going to stitch the wings top to bottom. So I've got the bottom wing and the top wing, and then these two seams here need to meet up, and I've got them pressed both going in the same direction, so you can always flip one if you want to, but I'm going to just line them up like that. Okay, and do the same with these. Just going to line that seam up. So now let me press these open. I need to replace that leader there. Okay, so this is what we have so far. So let me press. Okay, now here's the body, and one end is longer than the other, and that one's going to go at the top. So we're just going to lay that down like that. And then I'm going to pin at the top and the bottom, and then in the middle, and stitch that in. And then I'll add the other side. So I'm working on the left wing first, and then I'll work on the right. Or the left side of the butterfly as opposed to the right side of the butterfly. Okay, one more pin like that. So that's all pinned, and I'll sew that and then add the right side of the butterfly. I'll get my presser foot closer to me. Here we go. Okay, let's press this and add the right side of the butterfly. Okay, so there's that side. Then let me add the other side. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pin top and bottom and in the center. Okay, now I'm going to press and we can look at the block. Okay, here's the completed block. So that turned out really well. It's really not difficult if you lay all your pieces out and just double check, make sure you've got everything in the right order. The sizing on Riley Blake's website is very clear, so I think you can follow those directions really well. And of course you can do what I do and resize it to suit your needs, make any kind of changes you want, and you can have a pretty butterfly block. So if you're interested in this, go visit Riley Blake's website and look for Butterfly in the Sky, and that free pattern will be there. The next thing I have to do is to make the 9-patch chain blocks, and I'll show you those in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links, and to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.